Every day, drivers enjoy the sleek convenience of modern vehicles, automated, efficient, and loaded with technology. But many forget that these advancements are built on decades of experimentation. Some innovations once promised to redefine the driving experience forever. From turbocharged rotary engines to digital dashboards, certain features sparked excitement and curiosity only to vanish in silence. Why do some groundbreaking ideas fail? Why do others become legendary? Join us as we explore 20 car innovations that didn't stand the test of time and uncover why they faded into obscurity. 20. Bench seats. Bench seats, once a hallmark of American cars, stretched across the entire width of the vehicle's front row. From the 1920s through the 1980s, they were ideal for families and offered room for 3 in the front. Drivers and passengers loved their simplicity and the ability to slide out from either side. But bench seats lacked proper support and safety. They didn't offer individualized seat belts or headrests, and in accidents, they posed major risks. As crash safety standards evolved, automakers replaced bench seats with bucket seats, which offered better support, enhanced comfort, and integration with airbags and modern restraint systems. 19. Vent windows. Also known as wing windows, these triangular side windows were popular from the 1930s to the 1970s. They could be tilted open for ventilation before air conditioning became widespread, giving passengers a refreshing breeze. Despite their benefits, vent windows had drawbacks. They leaked in the rain and were easy targets for thieves. As car designs shifted toward aerodynamic efficiency and air conditioning became standard, vent windows slowly disappeared by the 1980s. 18. Ashtrays. Ashtrays were once a staple in car interiors. Found in dashboards, doors, and center consoles, they reflected a time when smoking was socially acceptable, even expected. As awareness of health risks grew and smoking declined, ashtrays became unnecessary. They also posed fire hazards and maintenance issues. By the 1990s, automakers phased them out, replacing them with cup holders and storage space. It was the end of a smoky era. 17. In-car record players. In the 1950s, record players in cars were considered the future of in-car entertainment. Vinyl fans could enjoy their favorite albums while driving. Unfortunately, the technology didn't hold up. Bumpy roads made the needle skip, ruining the experience. The players were bulky, unsafe to operate while driving, and eventually replaced by 8-track players, which were far more practical and durable. 16. Landau bars. Landau bars were purely decorative chrome bars added to the sides of cars to mimic 19th century carriage. First used in the 1920s, they gave vehicles an old-world luxury look. However, they offered no real function and often rusted or broke. By the late 20th century, they were phased out in favor of practical features like panoramic roofs and sunroofs that offered both form and function. 15. Column shifters. Column shifters, introduced in the 1930s, moved the gear selector to the steering column, freeing up cabin space. Popular in family sedans and trucks, they enabled an extra passenger in the front seat. However, they were imprecise and prone to mechanical failure. By the 1960s, floor-mounted shifters became the norm, especially as sporty and performance-driven vehicles gained popularity. 14. Roof-mounted luggage rack. Before SUVs became mainstream, roof racks were essential for family vacation. They helped carry excess luggage when trunks were too small, but they also reduced fuel efficiency, created noise, and posed safety hazards when improperly secured. Rust and damage were common issues. With modern SUVs, larger trunks, and aerodynamic roof boxes, traditional racks became obsolete. 13. Car phones. Long before Bluetooth, there were car phones, large, expensive, and limited in connectivity. First introduced in 1946, they allowed drivers to make calls while on the road. But the drawbacks were many: high cost, poor reception, frequent busy signals, and distractions while driving. As mobile phones became smaller and more affordable, the car phone faded into history. 12. Hood ornaments. These chrome figures, like Rolls-Royce's Spirit of Ecstasy, once stood proudly on car hoods as symbols of elegance and brand identity. However, they were hazardous in collisions, easily stolen, and broke the car's aerodynamic flow. Safety regulations and changing tastes replaced them with subtle, integrated logos by the 1980s. 11. Pop-up headlights. Sleek, futuristic, and just plain cool, pop-up headlights turned heads in the 1980s and 90s. Found on cars like the Mazda MX-5 and Corvette, they were design icons. But their mechanisms often failed, they posed pedestrian safety risks, and modern headlight laws made them impractical. By the early 2000s, they were gone. 10. Floor-mounted dimmer switches. These switches allowed drivers to toggle high and low beams with their foot, letting them keep hands on the wheel. Popular in the 40s and 50s, they were seen as a smart safety feature. Unfortunately, their location made made them prone to wear, especially in wet or dirty conditions. By the 1980s, they were replaced by more reliable controls on the steering column. 9. Vinyl roofs. Vinyl roofs gave cars a faux convertible look that screamed luxury in the 1960s and 70s. Popular on Cadillacs and Lincolns, they were initially admired for their style. However, the material cracked, peeled, and trapped moisture, leading to rust. Paint technology advanced, making full metal roofs more appealing and durable. Vinyl roofs faded by the 1980s. 8. 8-track tapes. Revolutionary in their time, 8 tracks offered continuous music without flipping the tape. Ford even built them into cars during the 1960s. But the tapes jammed easily, sound quality degraded, and newer formats like cassettes and CDs offered more portability and fidelity. By the 80s, 8 tracks were done. 7. Automatic seat belts. These belts automatically moved into place when the door closed, aiming to increase seatbelt use without manual effort. But they only secured the upper body, leaving the lap belt manual. Many users ignored the lower belt, leading to injury. Malfunctions were common, and they were soon replaced by standard belts and airbags, which offered better overall protection. 6. Tail fin. Inspired by fighter jet, tail fins were dramatic design flourishes on 1950s cars like the Cadillac Eldorado. They symbolized a space-age future. However, they had little aerodynamic benefit, were expensive to produce, and created safety issues. By the late 1960s, they were replaced by more conservative designs. 5. Push-button transmissions. Pioneered by Chrysler in the 1950s, these systems used dashboard buttons instead of gear lever. They were seen as modern and space-saving, but frequent electrical issues and driver confusion led to their downfall. Today, similar concepts have returned in a more reliable digital form, but the original idea didn't survive the 20th century. 4. Whitewall tires. Once the epitome of class, whitewall tires were fashionable in the mid-1900s. Their clean look made luxury cars stand out, but they were hard to clean, more expensive to manufacture, and clashed with the modern aesthetic. By the 1980s, blackwall tires became the industry norm. 3. Curb feeler. These metal wires hung from wheel wells and scraped against curbs to help drivers park without damaging tires or hubcaps, especially handy with whitewall. But they were noisy, outdated, and prone to damage. Today, cameras and parking sensors offer far superior guidance. 2. T-tops. T-tops aimed to combine the open-air thrill of a convertible with the rigidity of a coupe. Cars like the Pontiac Firebird and Corvette showcased the design, but the panels often leaked, storage was inconvenient, and they didn't provide the same experience as full convertible. Modern sunroofs and panoramic roofs made T-tops a relic of the past. 1. Woodies. Woodies were station wagons with real wood panels, a style born out of material shortages in the 1930s. They were charming, practical, and perfect for families. However, wood required constant upkeep, rotted in harsh weather, and offered little crash protection. As all-metal construction improved, Woodies faded into nostalgic history.